Bangalore is, as we all know, it's one of the top IT hubs of the country. Rather, it's the IT capital, right? And it attracts a lot of workforce from all over the country, which fuels this demand for buying and renting the property in the city.
हेलो, मेरा नाम हरिंदर सिंह है और मैं एक म्यूज़िक प्रोड्यूसर हूं और एक प्रोडक्शन हाउस का हेड भी हूं। और मैं आपको बता देना चाहता हूं कि मैंने पिछले साल ही अपना घर लिया है और उससे पहले मैं किराए के घर में रहा करता था। और किराए के घर में रहने के कुछ अनकहे अपने ही नियम कानून होते हैं।
Housing.com has announced the launch of the latest edition of its signature online property event, Happy New Homes 2023. What do you do if your property documents are lost? Let's try and take you through the process of reclaiming your lost property documents. Hello everyone. Namaskar, Salaam, Akal, Vanakkam. We are back with a fresh episode of Keeping It Real by Housing.com. This is India's first real estate focused podcast. It brings to you updates, views and insights about the realty sector, an explainer on a chosen subject, and a deep dive into an industry, trend, or topic. You can catch the episode on Housing.com, on the Housing.com app, on earshot.in, Spotify.com, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Ghana.com, and Geo7. If you missed the episode, don't worry. We have you covered. Wear your headphones or put on the phone speaker. You can listen to this while driving, eating, cooking, jogging, running, walking, chopping vegetables, or basically doing anything else whenever you want, wherever you are. Music producer Harinder shares his Mera Pehla Ghar experience. New supply registered a 47% quarter-on-quarter decline in Bengaluru in the fourth quarter, October to December 2022. Housing.com has announced the launch of the latest edition of its signature online property event, Happy New Homes 2023. Metro services in the city of Agra would become operational by the start of 2024. Developers in Mumbai have sought leeway in the payment of development charges for the redevelopment of old buildings. And what do you do when your property papers are lost? Details of all these and much more in this episode. Stay tuned. Your first house is always special. The feeling, the experience, the excitement, the emotions, everything is so overwhelming and distinctive. This is true for everyone. In this episode, we spoke to Harinder Singh, who shared his Mera Pehla Ghar experience with us. Let's listen in.
हेलो, मेरा नाम हरिंदर सिंह है और मैं एक म्यूज़िक प्रोड्यूसर हूं और एक प्रोडक्शन हाउस का हेड भी हूं। और मैं आपको बता देना चाहता हूं कि मैंने पिछले साल ही अपना घर लिया है और उससे पहले मैं किराए के घर में रहा करता था। और किराए के घर में रहने के कुछ अनकहे अपने ही नियम कानून होते हैं, लेकिन जब आप अपना घर लेते हो तो उसका अलग ही मज़ा होता है। क्योंकि जब आप जॉब करके घर लौट रहे होते हो तो मैं आपको बता दूं, जब आप घर पे वापस पहुंचते हैं ना, अगर वो किराए का हो तो वो घर नहीं, वो फिर फ्लैट या मकान होता है। लेकिन जब आप अपने घर में वापस लौटते हैं ऑफिस से, तब आपको जो सुकून मिलता है वो आपको कभी भी कहीं और नहीं मिल सकता।
New supply registered a 47% quarter-on-quarter decline in Bengaluru in the fourth quarter, that is October to December 2022. On a year-on-year basis, the supply dipped by 8%. The latest report by PropTiger.com, the country's leading online real estate brokerage company, says that a total of 42,215 new units were launched in Bengaluru in 2022, 106% higher than the preceding year. The majority of the new supply during 2022 was concentrated in the micro markets of Sarjapur, Varthur, Chandapura, Whitefield, and Kerengeri. The Rs 45 to 75 lakh price bracket took the lion's share of 34% each in overall new supply in 2022. As much as 45% of units sold in 2022 belong to the 2 BHK configuration, closely followed by 3 BHK with 39% share. Maximum sales, about 38%, were recorded in the Rs 45 lakh to 75 lakh price bracket. The prices for new supply and inventory grew by 9% year-on-year as of end of 2022. We spoke to Ankita Sood, head of research at Housing.com, PropTiger.com, Makan.com, to break down the numbers for us. Let's listen in. Hello, Ankita. Welcome back again, and always delighted to have your insights for this.
Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you once again. And yes, it's been very interesting to discuss details on these cities. So let's roll.
How has the Bengaluru property market performed in 2022?
Uh, Bangalore is, as we all know, it's one of the top IT hubs of the country. Rather, it's the IT capital, right? And it attracts a lot of workforce from all over the country, which fuels this demand for buying and renting the property in the city. Now, similar to other metro cities, Bangalore has been experiencing a slowdown due to the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 and also in 2021. And, in terms of renting, if I see many people move back to their hometowns, even for buying, since the market is coming mostly from people who are coming from outside, there was a slowdown in the market. However, with the opening up of the economy and businesses returning to pre-COVID levels, offices have started in full swing, and be it the hybrid work mode, which has helped the Bangalore property market to pick up significantly in 2022. Now, coming to your question, we see that the demand for residential property is almost at par to the pre-pandemic levels. There is some scope of recovery, definitely, but it is almost 80 to 85% closer to the pre-pandemic levels. Demonstrating the national trend, the positive home buyer sentiment has also infused confidence in the developers. The pent-up supply that we saw in 2022 has almost doubled from, if we are comparing the same with 2021, which definitely was a lull period. So yes, overall, the market of Bengaluru is picking up, and we're very hopeful for the coming quarters as well.
2022 being a positive year for the city, can you share insights on which were the realty hotspots for buying a home in Bengaluru? Also, what are the property prices in the city?
This is definitely a pertinent question. We all want to know what localities are hotspots, and how much appreciation would I get, or what price point can I enter. Now, when we look at the micro market trends, localities in eastern Bengaluru are currently witnessing the maximum property demand in the city. Majority of the property sales in 2022 were concentrated in the office areas of Whitefield, Varthur, and Sarjapur. In terms of pricing, Bengaluru has always been an end user driven property market, where average property prices range somewhere between 6,000 to 6,500 per square feet. Now, this year, we saw Bengaluru's property market register an uptick of 9% on an average, with certain key localities even clocking double-digit growth. The city was only second to Gurugram, which recorded a 13% increase in terms of its weighted average property pricing.
That's very insightful. You also mentioned earlier that Bengaluru also sees a lot of rental activity. Can you share some insights on the same?
Sure. And, just carrying on from my previous, statement, I would want to point out that these are weighted average prices of the city. Of course, there will be localities, which would be trading at higher than the weighted average. And of course, we would have, the lowest. The bell curve mostly forms around 6,000 to 6,500. Coming to your question, Gaurav, rental, of course, since we know that it is an IT capital and a lot of outside workforce comes into the city for, various job opportunities. So we see Pune, Hyderabad, and Bengaluru, they have picked up significantly when it comes to renting a home, as people are returning back to their offices. And even, if you're on a hybrid work model, we see certain mid-management employees, they are preferring to be in the city of their work. So that has actually kicked in the rental demand back. I wouldn't say to pre-pandemic levels, but it is inching up. Now, very interestingly, we at Housing have, devised an index which is called the IRIS index. Now, this index measures the rental demand that we see in the tier 1 and tier 2 cities on a monthly basis. And, I would want to point out to our listeners that Bangalore took a top spot amongst the key cities in terms of online rental search activity at the end of 2022. So this signifies that people were returning to their workplaces, which in turn, fueled the index. And Bangalore overtook Pune and Hyderabad as well in terms of rental activity. Now, to share some deeper insights, which were the key areas where all of this volume of rental activity was concentrated. So the HSR layout, Whitefield, of course, because that's the office area, and Koramangala. These were the key areas which drove the rental traffic for Bengaluru in 2022.
Thanks, Ankita. Thanks for these very deep insights. It's always a delight to speak to you.
Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you for having me.
Housing.com has announced the launch of the latest edition of its signature online property event, Happy New Homes 2023. Running virtually between February 15, 2023 and March 15, 2023, the mega property event showcases real estate projects by leading developers in India's 27 cities. Coming in the backdrop of favorable market conditions, the event is the biggest in terms of collection and participations for Housing.com during the virtual event, which provides consumers an option to buy and sell virtually with utmost ease through the use of latest technology enablers. Properties from across price segments in India's mega cities as well as tier 2 and tier 3 markets are up for grabs. Over 500 developers are showcasing their more than 800 housing projects during the month-long gala event, which is expected to see participation from nearly 2,500 channel partners. Some of the leading developers participating in the gala event include Panchshil, Kohinoor Group, Kalpataru, Mahagun, Casagrande, and many others. While providing a contactless home buying experience to its audience, the company has put on display a 3D virtual booth to offer users an experience of a real property kiosk. To make this year's event more exciting from the point of view of developers and sellers, the REA India-owned company has also added new services for re-engaging with consumers and introduced listings of commercial spaces to maximize presence and better audience targeting. To make their offers attractive, several freebies have been made part of the package deals by real estate developers during the Happy New Homes 2023 event. Among the incentives on offer are free covered parking, modular kitchens, pre-installed air conditioning in bedrooms, complete waiver on a year of maintenance fee, and complete waiver of bank processing fee. Some developers are also offering 10-gram gold coins on spot booking, while others are promising double penalty payment in case of project delay. Developers in Mumbai have sought some leeway in payment of development charges for the redevelopment of old buildings in Maharashtra Housing and Area Development Authority (MHADA) land after the Bombay High Court ruled that they were not exempt from paying such charges. The Confederation of Real Estate Developers Association of India CREDAI, Maharashtra Chamber of Housing Industry MCHI, the apex body of developers, has requested MHADA to not levy development charges until the stage of granting occupation certificate. In a letter to MHADA, it has also asked authorities to not levy penalty and interest as the payment of development charges was discontinued owing to stay orders from the Bombay High Court. The Bombay High Court, in its order in October 2022, ruled that developers undertaking redevelopment on state-owned land will not be exempted from paying development charges under the MRTP Act. Development charges are imposed to provide public amenities and for the improvement of the area. Only planning authorities undertaking such development would be exempt from such charges under the provision, the Bombay High Court had said. The developers have challenged the High Court order in the Supreme Court, where the matter is being heard. In the backdrop of the developers approaching the Supreme Court, the apex body of the developers, namely CREDAI MCHI, in a letter dated January 16, wrote to MHADA stating, quote, "You will appreciate that the various projects are in the process of completion, and therefore the additional cost of demand on development charges will affect the financial outflow in the projects," unquote. The letter added, quote, "Hence, it is requested that the development charges may be collected, recovered only before the grant of the occupation certificate. It shall not be out of place to mention here that no interest penalty be levied while recovering the development charges, as there is no default on the part of the developer in the payment of development charges," unquote. The developers contended that the payment of development charges was not imposed by authorities as it was under challenge in the Bombay High Court. Owing to this, during the payment of development charges, the interest or penalty part should not be charged and the balance should be collected only before granting of the occupation certificate. Metro services in the city of Agra would become operational by the start of 2024, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath said on February 6, 2023. The Chief Minister made this observation while inaugurating the underground work for the tunnel of the Agra Metro rail project. Quote, "The priority corridor of 6 kilometers would be completed ahead of the 6 months of the scheduled target, and metro services will be operational for the people of Agra by the beginning of 2024, unquote, the Chief Minister said while he flagged off tunnel boring machines named Ganga and Yamuna for 3 underground stations of the priority corridor of the Agra Metro project. The priority corridor in the city of Taj Mahal would run from the Taj East Gate to the Jama Masjid. Stations on this route would include Taj East Gate, Vasai Metro Station, Fatehabad Road Metro Station, Taj Mahal, Agra Fort and Jama Masjid. While the first 3 stations will be elevated, the other 3 will run underground. The foundation of the Agra Metro Rail was laid virtually by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on December 7, 2020. The project is being implemented and undertaken by the Uttar Pradesh Rail Metro Corporation. The estimated cost of the project is Rs 8,379 crore. What do you do if your property documents are lost? Let's try and take you through the process of reclaiming your lost property documents. Property documents prove your ownership from a legal perspective, and retrieving lost documents is a non-negotiable task. Note, mere possession of property won't solve the purpose. Who owns a property is solely determined by who is the owner on the paper. Mere possession of the property would not prove you are the owner of the property. So in the unfortunate event of losing or misplacing property papers or original sale deeds, immediate steps should be taken. The first step is to retrieve the lost papers, and the second is to get a duplicate copy of the lost property documents. The first step towards retrieval of the lost property documents would be to approach the police station in your area and lodge a first information report or an FIR. After lodging an FIR, the police would try to find the documents. In case they fail to do so during a plausible time window, they will issue a non-traceable certificate stating that the search for the lost documents has not been fruitful. The owner should first search for the property papers. To do this, he would have to give an advertisement in at least 2 newspapers about the loss of the property papers and request to whosoever has found it to return the documents to his address. We must remind you here that doing so is obligatory and not optional. On a plain piece of paper, write about the entire turn of events, mentioning that the lost or misplaced document could not be retrieved within a reasonable period. Also provide all the details of the property and attach copies of the non-traceable certificate and the newspaper advertisement clips. While drafting this matter, write an undertaking that the facts mentioned in the application are true to your knowledge. Submit the application to the sub-registrar's office, where the property was originally registered. Once the documents are verified, your application will be accepted. A duplicate copy of the property papers will be issued to you in a matter of 15 to 20 days. That's it from us for this episode. We shall be back again with a fresh episode of Keeping It Real by Housing.com with information and insights on the real estate industry. Take care and stay safe.